Okay. So now in this video, we will see what is a class and what is object-oriented programming, what is object, what is a class, what are the concepts of the object-oriented programming. Okay. See here, the eyes for the definition. So object-oriented programming, it is a programming paradigm that involves designing the programs around the concept represented as object. Okay, we are going to design a program. Okay, so that depends on the object. So that means we are going to create the every time object only. That means we need to represent object. The program should represent object. Python supports the object oriented programming through the classes. That means we are going to create a class, then or for that class we are going to create one object like that. So what are the concepts comes under this Python object oriented programming? Okay, so those concepts are these: class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Okay, so the programming language that supports this class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, we can call that programming language is a object-oriented programming language. Okay, now we'll see one by one the definitions. Okay, so for these object-oriented programming concepts. What is a class? The terminology see here. What is a class? Class is a collection of functions and attributes attached to a specific name, which represents an abstract concept. Actually, class means it is a collection of attributes and functions of a real world entity. Of a real world entity. Okay. See, we said here, student is a real world category. Okay. So, student is also real world entity. Okay. So, that means we'll make it is also real world entity. So, we can say now we'll think this is a student is a real world category. Under this category, the Ramu, Raju, Raghu, these are coming. These real world entities are coming with these attributes, and also along with these attributes, the student will have functionalities. What are the functionalities? Those functionalities are he want to see his ID or his name. Okay, now so you want to get the details. Okay, so that get details is a functionality. And he want to see his marks. Get marks is a functionality. Okay, so then he will go to the college. Okay, so going to the college is a functionality. Okay, so studying is a functionality, reading is a functionality, writing is a functionality. So that means the student having the attributes and also the functionalities. Okay, so now employee. Employee means we are defining as an attributes employee ID, employee name, salary, department, company name. These are the attributes. And also along with these attributes, employee may have, okay, so get details. So he also wants to see the details. Get details is a functionality. Okay, so the next get salary. So how much salary he is going to draw. Okay, so that salary you want to retrieve. Okay, so using programming language. Then get salary is a functionality. Okay, so like that, if any functionalities are there, those, that means this employee having the attributes and also details. Now here, animal. So animal having the attributes, along with these attributes, it is also having some functionalities, that is a walking, dog can walk, walking is the functionality, running is the functionality. Okay, so and something we can say shouting. Shouting is a functionality. Any functionality you can define what animal is having. Okay, so these are the functionalities and attributes. Means in the real world entity having attributes and also functionalities. Okay, so now we'll see. Just I can remove. Come to the object-oriented programming. In that object-oriented programming, there is two terminologies coming under this. First one, we are saying that class, and second one is object. Object. Okay, so the class means it is a category of the objects. It is a collection of objects. Why we are saying the collection of objects means student is a category. The student means it is a collection of the real world entities. Ramu, Raju, Sita. Okay, now so these are the real world entities. So all these comes under the student category. So we can say class means it is a category like that. Okay, so it is a group of entities or real world entities. Okay, real world entities. What that real world entities having? Which have attributes, attributes and functionalities. Attributes and functionalities. That we can say as a class. This is the exact definition. It is a group of real world entities which have attributes and functionalities. These attributes and functionalities are defined in the class. Okay, so that means every real world entity must have the attributes and functionalities. Those we are going to define in the class as a category. Then what is an object? Okay, so object means real world entities. Real world entities. Okay, real world entities. So these group of these objects only we can say as a class. So we can say one more definition for the class: group of objects or a collection of objects. Collection of objects. Okay, so now we can construct this object. That means we can create this object by using this class only. We can create the object by using the class only. Means class is going to give how you want to create an object. What object should we have? Means it is going to give some blueprint for the objects. So we can say class is a blueprint. Blueprint. Okay, that means using this class blueprint, we are going to create more number of objects. More number of objects. This what these objects can do? They can perform real actions. Okay, so object can perform actions. Class going to define the object. Class going to create the object. Object is created on the class blueprint only. What class is defining? With those attributes and functionalities, object is going to perform the actions. Okay, so this is, for example, we are saying animal is a class. Animal is a class. Okay, so object means dog. Dog is object. So from where this dog came? From the animal class only. Okay, so person. Person is a class. Satish is an object. Okay, so like that. That means, for example, if you see product is a class, it is a category of all the products. Product is a class. What is the object? Laptop is an object. Pen is an object. Okay, so like that. That means a class means it is a category or a collection of objects or a blueprint. Okay, for the objects. Okay, so class can give as a template for the objects. Class is a template for the objects. So we can write class is a template. Class is a template. Just it is a template. Okay, so this template is going to give the definition for the object. Okay, so that is the definition here, a class means a collection of functions or attributes attached to a specific name. Animal is a specific name, person is a specific name, student is a specific name. For that specific name, attributes and functionalities we are giving. It represents then abstracts concept. Okay, so abstract concept means student. There is actually student is abstract abstraction for Ramu, Raju, these real world entities like that. What is an attribute? Attribute nothing but it is a piece of data. Okay, so in a programming language we can take it as a variable. A variable is attribute. Okay, so then what is an object? Object means it is a single concrete instance generated from the class. Just we are saying here. So from where the object is generating? From class only. From class only. From class only, the object is going to construct actually. Construct means generate. What we can say? So it can be constructed. It can be constructed from class. Constructed from class. It can be constructed from class. Okay, so what we can say it is an instance of class. It is an instance of class. Okay, so just we'll try to understand some more depth about the class and object by memory way. So just what I am doing means I want to create one class. I want to create a class. Just we'll take a class of the student. Okay, so student, it is a class. Means what should it have? It should have the student ID. Okay, so just a student ID means just I can write here STID, student name. Okay, so the next student course, the next student age. These are attributes, and functionalities also we need to define. So those functionalities are get details, get marks. Okay, so get attendance. These are the functionalities I want to define. So see, student ID. Did I give here any student ID here? No. Just what I am saying, student should have the student ID. Student should have the student name. Student should have the student course. Student should have the student age. Okay, so that this is only the just I can say declaration. Okay, so what student have? These attributes and these functionalities. These attributes and functionalities we can say in another terminology, state and behavior. Okay, so this is the state and this is the behavior. Okay, so just we can say this is a state. These attributes are the state, and this we can say is the behavior. Behavior. Okay, so means every class it can declare the state and behavior. Means attributes and functionalities, variables and methods. Okay, so state with means variables. Variables. Okay, so here behavior means methods. Functionalities means methods. Attributes means variables. Right. So this is only the declaration. So class doesn't have any memory. Memory will not be created for this. Just it is a file. Okay, so just we are typing in English language. That's it. This is a just a template. This is a template. Template will not take any memory directly. That means the class cannot take the memory while running the program. When we want to execute this student like that, then it will not occupy the memory directly. Okay, so what we can do when we want to, when we create the object, then the memory will be allocated for this class. If you create the object, then memory will be created. So how I can create the objects? Just I will show you here simply. I think you will understand that. Creating object, creating object. Okay, so how I am creating the object means the first object, student 1. I want to create student 1 that I can take as an S1. Okay, so S1. S1 is a student. S1 is a student. Next, S2 is a student. Okay, so S1 is a student. So I want to give through this, just I want to define ID. Student ID is a 111. Okay, so like we can take a student name is Ramu. Okay, so then student course is something BSc. Student age something we can take as a 20. This is the first student. The second student, I want to give the student ID is 222. The next Raju. Okay, so then we can take the same course. Okay, so age is also same. These two are the two students I'm creating. See, S1 and S2. S1 means Ramu, S2 is a Raju. These are the real entities. So when we are writing like this is the definition or creating or constructing the object. While creating or constructing the object, what will happen means on the RAM. If you think this is a RAM, on this RAM, then some memory will be allocated for the S1. Some memory will be allocated for S2. Okay, now just think. Okay, just think that this is the RAM, random access memory. Okay, so while we are executing the program, okay, just a minute. While we are creating the object, okay, so it occupies the memory on the RAM actually. So we can say it is a RAM, random access memory. Now S1, it is represented, the first object. Okay, so this is represented by S1. S1, it is referred, S1 is referring this memory location. S2, S2 is referring this memory location. This is the actually thing. Okay, so in this memory, we can call in the another terminology instance. Memory means the instance. Okay, so this instance belongs to this student or not? Yes. This instance also related to, that means belongs to this student or not? Yes. So we can say instance of this class is known as an object. This is the instance means a memory for this class. This is also instance, that means memory for this class. So instance of the class is known as an object. So S1, it is referring this memory location, S2 referring this memory location. What it is having? It is having its own attributes and functionalities. So means 111. Next, Ramu. Next, BSc. BSc. Next, 20. This is the first. Then second, this is also having something 222. Raju. The next BSc. The next 20. Okay, so now see here, every object having its own values for the state and its own functionality, this behavior means. So when we are writing like this S1 is also having the get details. If you call that get details, then we will get these details. Okay, so so if you call this S2 get details, then we will get these details. Okay, now so this is how we can convert the real world entity as a programmatically. Okay, now first we need to define the class. Okay, this class should represent a group of objects, a collection of objects. Like that, we need to create one class with state variables and behavior methods. Okay, so those will be enter into the real world live state when create object. How we are creating the object? Like this, s1 is equal to this is, s2 is equal to this is. If you are creating like this in the background on the RAM, so it will take the attributes and it will take the attributes, okay, so along with methods. Okay, so this is how we are defining here. Object means it is an instance generated from a class. Okay, so class is a collection of functions and attributes attached to a name, which represents like an abstract concept. Okay, so object means it is an instance of the class. Okay, so instances of the class. So classes can be viewed as in factories or templates. Class means it is going to construct something. So it is going to manufacture something. So we can say it is as a factory. Class is a factory. It can define some, it is, we can say, as a template for generating the new instances. Class is for generating new instances. Those are the objects. Each object instance takes on the properties of the class. Just we are saying properties means attributes and methods. Okay, so those each object having those methods and attributes. Okay, so here some example. See, rectangle we are saying. What are the attributes of the rectangle? Width, height, color. These are the attributes. Rectangle is a real world abstract concept, means it is a class. It is a class. Okay, so this class is going to define with these attributes and with these functions. This is area. So from the rectangle, what we are going to find? Area. This is only one function we can take. We can take a perimeter also. Okay, so whatever we want to get width, get length, get color, change color. These are the functionalities we can take as. But here we are defining only one area. See, this is defining the class. Okay, so rectangle is a name. Rectangle is a name of the class, name of the category. What are the attributes? Means width, height, color. Functionalities means area. Okay, now we can say this is a class. Rectangle is a class. Now come to the objects. See, while defining the objects, it should show width, height, color values. The value of the width, value of the height, value of the color. How? See, rect1. Rect1, it is taking that width and height and width. Okay, so width is a 5, height is a 3. What is the color means? This is the color coding. Okay, so color coding it is taking. And area is the functionality 5 3s are 15. Okay, so length into width. So it is defined like that. That means this is the object for this rectangle. See, exactly this object is having these attributes only. And it is performing this functionality only. How? See, rectangle is having height, width, height, okay, and a color, then area. So what I'm saying here, this rectangle, this is another rectangle. That means another object with a different width and different height. Each object having its own attribute values. Okay, so like this. So it is also showing the different color. Okay, so color coding is changing. And rectangle 3, it is a one more. Like that we can create any number of objects for the rectangles with different attributes. Okay, so then we can perform the area. We can calculate the area for the any values, any rectangles. Okay, so here rectangle is a class with these attributes and functions. Rect1, rect2, rect3, like that we can create any number of objects with different height, different width. Then we can calculate the area. This is the just we can understand what is an instance. Then how we can create a class in the Python. So that also we can see here. So I will show you. Okay, so how we can create a class. Okay, so we can create a class by using class keyword. Just I can remove this one also. In Python, we can create a class by using class keyword. And then we need to give a name to the class. So class name. Okay, so class name. The class name is it is an identifier. Class name is an identifier. Means it we can use to identify a class. then we need to give a colon. Okay, so then we need to give a colon. After that, so from here, from down of the C, we need to give some indentation. Indentation means spaces. Okay, so you can define your own spaces, 3, 4, 5, like that any. Okay, so that can define the indentation. Class is a indented block. Class is a indented block, means we need to maintain that indentation. I can give 1, 2, 3, 3 spaces. Okay, 3 spaces. Then we can give the attribute values. Okay, so what attributes you want to define? Means variables and its values. Okay, so like that. So like that, see here the definition is we can create data and a value 1. See class name. Okay, so data, value 1, data, value m, like that. Any number of data we can give. Okay, so these we can say as an class variables. So how? See here, we can write here, for example, um, data 1, data 1 and its value. Data 1 is equal to value 1. Okay, so like that same indentation we need to follow. Data 2, that is equal to value 2. Value 2. Then next like that data n, data n, that is equal to value n. Value n. Okay, so this is defining the attributes. Okay, so then we can define the functionalities also. Okay, so functionalities that we can say is a method 1 colon, and also it is also going to maintain again the indentation. Statement 1. Okay, so then if it is having more statements, then statement 1, statement 2. Okay, so but while defining the methods, so we need to give one mandatory parameter, that is self. Okay, so then you know what is an function. Okay, so in the after so knowing that functions, we'll see this method. Method means a function, but whenever we are defining a function in the class, we call it as a method. Okay, so a method means if you define a function in the class, that is a method. Okay, so like that we can define any number of methods. So self is a mandatory attribute or parameter. Statement 1. Okay, so like that any number of statements we can give. Statement 2. Okay, so just I'm defining. So from here to here, this we can say is a class. Means it is a template. Okay, so this is how we can create a class. See the definition how we can write class, and it is having the class name data 1 value 1, or like that data m value m. So any number of, so these we can call as in class data attributes, class attributes or class variables. Class attributes, class variables. These class attributes, class variables are same for all the objects. Those will not change. Okay, so those will be same for the every object when we are going to create objects. So then next, whenever we want to create the methods, okay, so here we are writing function 1, function 2 and its blocks. Self is mandatory. If any arguments are coming, those are the optional. If you require, then we can write the arguments. Self is mandatory. So means here the method means it must have the self. It is defined in the class. Okay, so we can define the functions like this with using the def keyword. Okay, so def function 1 and its block. These are the class member functions. We can call these are the class variables. These are the class member functions. Okay, so this here we can say that this data 1 to data n, and also these methods. Data 1 to data n, we can say these are the class variables. Okay, so class variables and we can say these are the class member functions. Member functions. Okay. So we'll see one example. I want to show you one small example here. See that how we can create a class of the student. Class student colon enter. I'm giving the indentation 1, 2, 3. Every student having the college name, same college name. Okay, so I'm saying that same means it is a class attribute. Okay, now so student attribute means every student, he may be Ramu, he may be Razu, everything. Okay, so every student having the college name is the same. So I can write that as a college name. It is a class attribute or class variable. Okay, now then we can write here something college name. Okay, now so that we can write here ABCD college. Okay, so now we can write if any common things, then we can write. Okay, now, so college address is the common for all. Okay, we can write the college address, college code for common to all the college code. College code is also common to all objects for all the students. That we can write like this 1111 like that. Then we can define the method member functions. What students should have the get details. Okay, so just we can write a def get details, def get details. Then we can write here the self. Okay, get details self. What are the details he is going to have? ID, name. Okay, so ID, name, course colon. Okay, so colon defines the block, next block. So 1, 2, 3. This is the class block. 1, 2, 3. This is the method block. Okay, so method also having the indentation. So that's why. Now see here, this get details means it is going to get the details. That is ID. So self dot ID is equal to ID. This is the functional I am writing. It is going to get the details. What self will define? What self will define means self is a variable. It represents the current object, current executing object. Okay, one object can execute only once. Just we'll take first when object, which object is executing, the self can represent that one. Okay, for example, if it is the Ramu object, self means a Ramu. Self means a Ramu object, that complete Ramu object. If we are assigning the Razu details, okay, then self represents that Razu object, like that. Okay, so that is. So now here self, we need to maintain the indentation. Okay, so name is equal to name. Next, self dot course is equal to course. Okay, so now just to try to understand here, self means the student object, actual object. Either it may be Ramu, Razu, any. ID means that self dot ID, that Razu ID. Okay, Razu name, Razu. Okay, so self dot course, Razu course, which course? Okay, so these are we are giving. See, this ID means this ID. Okay, so just then one more functionality I want to write, that is def show details. Show details, that is self comma self. That's enough. Self. Now here I want to print those details. Print ID is self dot ID. The next print, see here, ID. Next name is self dot name. Next print course is self dot course. Okay, so just this is only the class I am defining. This is the class I am defining. That's it. Okay, now so just you can understand this clearly. So class name, college name and college code. These are the class variables. And get details and show details are the member functions. What get details is going to do means this id nothing but this id nothing but this is only. Okay, so this is going to assign to self current which object is executing, that is name is also this name, this is going to assign to this self name. Then course is also going to assign the self course, means self having id name course. Self represents object, so that object id object name object course. Here whenever we want to show the detail, asking show details means print the details, then self we are sending. Self represent that object, that object contains id name course, that id name course I am printing. Okay, so how we can create the object for this? Okay, so how we can create the object for this? See here, creation of the object I will show you. Okay, so for that in the Python we can create the object like this. Okay, so first reference, with which reference you want to create the object. Yes, I already said the reference, how we can represent reference in the memory. Yes, so reference name, okay, so is equal to class name. Reference name is equal to class name parenthesis. That's it. Okay, so that like that we can give any number of references. Reference name 1, reference name 2, reference name 3. Any reference name you can give. These reference names also like variables. Like variables, reference variable we can say, reference variable. So here I want to represent this student as an S1 is a first reference, that is equal to I want to create a student object student, that's it. Next I want to create a S2 okay, so is equal to same student. S3 is equal to student. See, whenever writing that S1 is equal to student, then this class gets the memory. Until writing this line, this will not get any memory. If you write this line, then it is going to construct the memory. Okay, so student also same thing, this S1 S2 S3, but what they are having, nothing. So starting when we write like this, it is empty, but after creating this, we need to give the details. Okay, so S1 means what is S1, who is the S1. Okay, that we can write like this. So we need to perform the functionality. What is the functionality? On S1 I want to call get details. I want to call get details. Okay, so now id 111, name Ramu or Raju, the next course BSc. This is I am giving. So what about the self? What about the self here? Self nothing but the S1. Okay, so that is the object S1. So the 111 Raju BSc, these are belongs to these S1. So the self represent the S1 like that. So after creating that, then I want to give details for this S2 also. Sorry, just I can take this here. Then we can give S2 dot get details 222. Okay, so Ramu, okay, so MSc. Okay, so like that I'm giving. So what it represents, the another object, but it is going to execute the get details, same get details. Okay, so here self means now S2. While executing this line, while writing this line or while executing this line, self represents S1, current executing object. And its details are name, ID name course are 111 Raju BSc. But while this is executing 222 Ramu MSc. Okay, so like that ES3 also. Means these are the, we can call as an objects. This is the class, these are the objects we can say. Okay, so how we can create a class, how we can create an object. This example we can keep with you. Okay, so this is about the class and objects. So how we can define the functions. Okay, so everything will solve. Right, thank you. So in the next video, we'll see about the constructors.